Hello, welcome to Her Empire Builder Show. I am your host, Tina Tower, and I am very excited for today's guest. Today, I have Mel Browne, who I have known for very many years. I knew her kind of in the periphery before we got to meet at a business event back in 2018. And then we started working together in 2019 to build her first online course, My Financial Adulting Plan. And since, gosh, the impact that Mel has made is absolutely incredible. She's one of my favorite humans. She's probably also one of Australia's top course creators. And she's not only for that, but also for her money smarts. And she's also very unapologetically human when she talks about her wealth. I know that for a lot of people, when I talk about Mel to them, they're like, she's so polished and so poised, and she is. But she's also very human underneath that and has such an eclectic, colorful backstory. So a little bit about Mel. Her new book, brand new book, Dare to be Wealthy, is out this week. Go and get it at any, I know she would like me to say any of your local bookstores, because let's support local, but you can get it anywhere, because what we need is more wealthy women. So a little bit about Mel. She's an award-winning ex-accountant, ex-financial advisor, now financial educator who's licensed to give general advice. She founded her own successful accounting and financial planning firm before selling to an ASX-listed company just before COVID. Over the past 13 years, Mel has also written 5 books about business and money, including the global bestseller Unfuck Your Finances and her latest, Dare to be Wealthy. So she has the theory, but she also has the life experience. She grew up in the western suburbs of Sydney in a violent and often inconsistent household, and came from less than nothing in her early 30s after giving all her money to charity, which we're talking about a little bit in this podcast episode as well, because it was a move that she instantly regretted and wants to save other people from. So despite these starts, setbacks, and mistakes, she's now a multi-millionaire, and she's gained all of the financial independence from the strategies that she's put in place herself, and she's now teaching you how to do that. Mel genuinely believes, as a result of her own story and working with tens of thousands of women and families, that understanding how to build wealth shouldn't be abdicated or just for the select few who can afford it, but it's something that absolutely everyone can achieve. Mel's regularly asked to comment on money and finances, making regular TV and radio appearances, including Triple J's The Hack, The Today Show, Weekend Sunrise, Sky Business, all of the exciting things. She's also been featured in CEO Magazine, Cosmopolitan, Who, Vogue, Yahoo Finance, and had a fortnightly column in the Sydney Morning Herald and Melbourne's The Age for 7 years. This one is inspiring, practical, and full of moments that I think will hopefully change the way that you think about your financial future and help you to create more wealth in your life. Let's get it. The fabulous Melissa Browne, welcome to Her Empire Builder Show.
Thank you for having me.
You are one of my favorite humans all around in the world. In terms of like the nicest, the smartest, the kindest, all of the things. So
Right back at you.
The last time you were on the show was very, very long ago, 2020. So it's about
it was
time.
A while ago.
It's about
That's
time that we had you
nuts.
back. And the reason that we get you back is because this week your brand new book, Dare to be Wealthy, is out, which is so exciting. And
so excited.
You have said, I have not got to read it yet. By the time this episode airs, I will get it and I will devour it cover to cover straight away. But you have said it's different to any other book that you have written. How
Absolutely.
so?
So I've been thinking about this book for 5 years, and I really wanted to write it, but I was scared to write it because it's got more of my story in it than ever before. But also, I've just been angry. Maybe I've been in perimenopausal rage for so long that I've been so frustrated by the patriarchal system that we are in when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. And my question has continuously come up over the last 5 years, and it's why we ran the conference that we did last year, Her Wealth, Her Way. What if we created something that was by women for women? What would that look like? So I started in this book to undo the conditioning that we exist within, that we don't even realize we are, and then suggested a different way. of approaching it.
What do you think is the most obvious thing? Like when you say what the impact of the patriarchy has had on us and the things that get your willies and make you really angry,
So
what is the
much.
obvious one?
So there's a handful. One, it's that men and women think that men are the better investor and that women are too emotional, when the stats are women, multiple research studies, women are better investors than men, and men are the more emotional investors. So that's a massive one. A second one is just the conditioning that we have. I was talking to Owen from Rask last year around, if a woman's, say, in her 30s, 40s, 50s, she'll invariably say to me, I don't have 30 years to invest. Yet I said to Owen, does a man ever said that to you? Because I get those DMs daily. And he goes, I've never had a bloke say that to me ever.
Yeah.
So this ageism that we're in is seeping across into our finances. But also just the words that we're using and the conditioning. So some funds are still using aggressive to describe one of the highest risk profiles. They're certainly still using assertive. I don't know many women that describe themselves
Aggressive
as that.
and assertive, yeah.
So they choose
Or
balance.
want to be described that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So they feel more comfortable with balance. They choose balance, and that's costing them potentially 1.5%.
Yeah.
Which is tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is like the conditioning and how much of it is innate, because I mean, as you know, I have teenage sons, and one of my sons spoke to you at the conference, which thank gosh you put some sense into him when you spoke to us at your conference, because he's there going, I think I might try some day trading. I think I'll just have a go at it and try that. And the thing is, like, I have two teenage sons. Unfortunately, I didn't get a girl, so I couldn't like
compare. You don't have that experiment.
And like raise a woman differently. You know, I would have loved that chance. All the best I can do is raise men differently. But the interesting part is I know a lot of teenagers, and I don't know any of the girls that naturally were like, yeah, I want to get stuck into day trading.
Yeah. And it's so boys are more often going to online gamble. Boys are more often going to be investing in crypto. So it's the same thing. So they're taking that same lens and applying it to trading. And it's the same. So as men age, the reason that the University of Essex found that men weren't as good investors and also more emotional is they trade more often. They are far more influenced by outside bad news that affects their trading. Whereas women, we tend to hold. We tend to invest in low, like, index funds. We just trade regularly. It's almost like we have more important things to do. So we're just going to set this up simply. And that simplicity, that lack of confidence is actually our superpower.
It's also the thing, like, I'm totally ignoring all my questions that are here because
I love
you've just given me so much, Mel. But it's the rise of, like, I've heard you talk a lot in Instagram lately about this whole time millionaire concept, and I love the series that you did. If I was in my 20s again, this is what I do. If I was in my 30s, if I was in my 40s, and we'll get to the thing of what happens when people believe that they're too late. But I do think that,
and I've got 50s and 60s coming and 70s.
Cause I'm 42, and there's a big part of me that was going, when I was 20, shares weren't accessible like they are now. I couldn't go to a broker and kept myself back from seeing a financial advisor literally till 5 years ago because I didn't think I was bougie enough to get there. But now, do you think it's more advantageous for young people because it's so accessible and you can just take that, even if you take the most conservative, balanced, lovely, safe approach, you can still set up for a really nice retirement?
Absolutely. Richard Branson famously said, so he had a young guy approach him and said, give me $100,000 because it means more to me than it does to you. You're not even going to notice it. And he goes, no, you give me your age. He goes, I will, that is the thing that I want, not the money. If I had my time again, yes, there is without question so much that young people are up against when it comes to technology and opportunity in property. However, their time, their ability to invest with small amounts in the share market, they are time millionaires. Like $250 a month, invested over 50 years, 3.2 million at the 9.3 30-year Vanguard index. Like $250 is a lot for an 18-year-old. It's nothing for a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
Which that's not increasing that amount. And I said that on a 7 News podcast that has had 1 million views. The comments are wild with people saying, I want that now, and that's not going to be worth much. And yes, you might believe that, but if you believe that and do nothing, you're the only one that's going to be that's going to miss out.
Yeah.
So it's about, how do I find more cash to make that $250 a month investment, and then choosing one. As I talk about in the book, in the share chapter, we overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
You can choose one thing to invest in. One thing.
Yeah.
One thing.
I love that.
When it comes to share.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come back to all of that so that I can stay a little bit structured, because I'm like, otherwise I'm going to go straight off. But you have built an incredible body of work on money for decades now. But one of my favorite parts of your story, which I wanted to put in there in case anyone hasn't read previous books or followed your work, but your financial story kind of started in a place that a lot of people wouldn't expect in Western Sydney, which you do, you let some of that bogan out sometimes. What was your earliest relationship with money like when you were growing up, and how's it changed and evolved over the time?
Yeah, so I'm a Western Sydney chick, absolutely bogan at heart, it's probably the biggest.
That, and I do think a little bit of bogan slips out every now and then, but
It
I would
so
describe
does.
you as like elegant as fuck. You're not a bogan.
My husband would disagree, but I totally love. He sees me as the bogan scrapper.
Maybe when you laugh and snort.
Yeah, exactly. That gives it away every time. But I grew up in a Western suburb household where looking back now, so it was an inconsistent, often violent household where my dad ruled the roost. And, we were taught from a very early age, you show a particular face to the world. Looking back now, it was absolute coercive control that he exercised. I think a lot of households experience that growing up, to be honest, where the guy, if it was a heterosexual relationship, the guy had the money and just dictated what happened. So he dictated how my mum worked. He dictated how much she had to spend. He dictated whether she could work or not. He dictated, he put documents in front of her, told her to sign and not question them, which it's just fortunate for her they were for properties and not for problems. But my money story growing up, watching that, was I never want to be her. And I didn't have any female role models around me. So I just believed, well, I don't have the opportunity. I wasn't born in the right suburb. Because of the experiences that happened to me when I'm younger, I just don't think that I am enough. I don't think that I am the person that is capable of doing more than just the basics. So I was the handbrake for a long time. I got married at 20. It was the only way I could think of to escape the house, which is really sad looking back. Like, that was the only option that I thought that I had. I was similar.
I fell in love with Matt at 18. We got engaged when I was 19 and married at 21, purely to escape the house. I was just really lucky. I fell into the lap of a very good man.
Yeah, absolutely. But how many women don't make those same decisions? Yeah. So I stayed with him for 13 years because I believed that I needed just to stick with that choice. And I knew that my very fundamental Christian family would turn their backs on me if I did leave, which absolutely did happen for a time. But during the divorce, he turned to me at one point and said, "You're never going to make it on your own." And I tell this story again in the book. And as a consequence of that, I gave my entire divorce proceeds and everything in my business and personal bank account to charity, to Opportunity International, which was kind of a screw you, I'll show you move. Like, I didn't want anyone or him to ever say that anything I did from that point was a result of him.
That's like a whole new level of scorched earth, Mel.
It's so stupid. And I now talk to women to say, if you're getting divorced, don't make decisions for 12 months.
Yeah.
Like, if I made that in 12 months' time, amazing, but don't make decisions when you're emotional.
Yeah.
But I ended up 5 figures of debt, living in a frat house, tiny, moldy basement bedroom. Absolutely not cute, not where I expected to be.
Yeah.
And my story is because I had that financial background and because I knew where to find out. Absolutely, ETFs really weren't a thing. Absolutely. There was no apps that you could invest in. But I learned how to invest. I learned how to build a business. I learned how to find more cash. I learned how to pay down debt. And by the time I was in my late 40s, I was a multimillionaire and have the choice to work or not. And why I always tell those stories, Tina, as you know, is because I want women to understand that we are not what we came from.
Yeah.
But also our money stories and those limiting beliefs that we grew up with, they don't define us.
Yeah. What do you think you had to shift the most? Because if you were, mid-30s and you were starting from scratch, what was the belief that you held that made yourself think that you were then worth it when you've been battling that your whole life?
A lot of therapy, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that for some people, great therapy can really help you financially because it is undoing that. For me, it was trauma and it was growing up with some quite horrific things happening to me when I was younger that really fed into that and almost made it impenetrable. And I had to really start to let go of all that so I could undo those beliefs. But I have a whole chapter in the book called that's about the nice girl, and I called it the pretty fool because that was me, and that's the conditioning I had. I grew up in a household where I was the eldest daughter. I just wanted to please. I just wanted people to think well of me. And I grew up with I just want to be nice. I just want to be thought well of. So I didn't want to make waves. And I think that can stop women creating wealth because, that's crass. That's selfish to want to do that. Whereas the research shows that when women hold wealth, families benefit, communities benefit,
and
society
I do think that's
benefit.
starting to get a lot more adopted too. I
Yeah.
don't hear anywhere near as much now from when I started working with women in business 20 years ago to now. A lot of the younger women that I work with in their 20s, they don't have any of that. They don't feel like money is great. They're like, what? What do you mean money is great? What do you mean? I don't.
What's interesting
Right.
though is they don't have that, but once they get into a relationship, they lose that. So the stats around young people are still showing that they are abdicating long-term investing decisions to their male partner if they're in a heterosexual relationship. And I was really surprised by that because I expected to see that 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
It's still there 25 to 29 and really strong. And I think there is still that, oh, good, thank God you're here. But also the inherent belief that 93% of both men and women believe that women are worse investors than men. And the conditioning, and I'd love to ask you this question, and I asked this question in the book. Name for me 5 women in TV, film, or books that are independently wealthy, not from family money, and that aren't evil.
Yeah.
Can you name?
I mean, Sarah Blakely is my favorite.
That's not TV, film, or book. That's a real life.
You mean like a character? Oh,
Yeah.
a character. Oh, yeah.
I can name 2. I can
Yeah.
name Sam from Sex and the City. And Devil Wears Prada, she's kind of evil, but not really. She's not. She's quite a deeply flawed character.
I'm trying to think. Reese Witherspoon played a character that was pretty good with that, but I can't remember who it was. It wasn't in that Place We Called Home movie because no, that wasn't.
Yeah, Elle Wood, who she played, was Family Money.
Yeah.
And yet, if I asked you the same of a guy, everyone in Ocean's 11, everyone in Ocean's 10, everyone, it would be
Anne
so
Hathaway
many.
in The Intern.
So 3, yeah, right.
I'm like, I'm going to be
Amazing.
distracted the whole interview now because I'm like, yeah, that's bad, Mel.
Yeah.
We need
But
to
it's
change
that
that.
whole, if we're not shown it,
Yeah, 100%.
then, and that's part of why Reese Witherspoon, and I love that you mentioned her, because again, I talk about her in the book.
Well,
That's
what
why she started Hell of
trying to do,
Sunshine.
but I can't really think about all
Yeah.
the, yeah,
So she's created some beautiful characters. Gone Girl, are wild,
yeah.
but not a lot of them are wealthy women that are independently wealthy. And
Or
I want to
Jennifer
write to her and
Aniston's
say,
character
Reese,
on,
let's start seeing it.
yeah, what's the morning
The
show?
morning show, but
Yeah,
again, Jen Aniston's character
yeah.
is independently wealthy. Reese's isn't
Yes.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we need to change that. Okay, new mission.
Yeah.
New mission.
No.
All right. So with the book,
But it's that monkey see, monkey do. If we don't see it,
100%. Yeah, that makes
then
a
how
lot
do
of
we
sense.
know we want it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like Unfuck Your Finances was very practical.
Yeah.
Dare to Be Wealthy, I think, from the sounds of it, isn't just practical, but I think when I've spoken to you about it as you've been writing it in the last year, it feels a lot more like mission led and manifesto,
Yeah.
which I know was very confronting for you.
Yeah.
What was it that made you finally go? Because I do know you've always kept not a facade, but like that armor on there,
Yeah.
and you've dropped that for this.
Yeah.
What was it that made you decide, enough, I'm putting it out there, and knowing that you also get, we can loop back in that 7 News podcast that you said that has horrible comments below
Yeah.
it, and knowing that you're opening yourself up for that too.
Yeah.
What's made you do that now?
Well, I think it's been on my mind for about 5 years. And I think in the end, it was just perimenopausal rage that caused me to sit down and go, I'm just so tired of this. And I was just getting angrier and angrier. But also, I just think it's time. Like I don't believe this is the only book that you'll need to read when it comes to money. There's a lot of great books out there. But I believe if you're a woman, you can't afford not to read it. And it just is, I just feel so passionate about, it's just enough. Like I feel like I've been saying the same things for the last 10 years. And it's almost like enough. And I've been saying them quietly, and I've been saying some things behind closed doors. And I've been shushed for some of them. And whether it's the comments in that 7 News podcast where like a couple of people were quite literally shush. So many people were like, you're out of touch. I'm like, no, I'm not. We need to be talking about this. Yeah. But I think it's also that I believe it's time for a revolution. Sometimes you can't fix a system from operating within it. So for me, it's suggesting a new way of doing money. What if it looked like something radically different? Because if women all changed, for example, how we invest, if every woman today just said, you know what, I'm going to be purposeful and intentional, and I'm going to invest with my values and how I intuitively want to behave with my spending choices and my superannuation, that decision alone would change systems.
Yeah.
So it's women realizing we have more power, we have more agency, and we want to step into it and
I
do
love
something.
like the call when you talk about it. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, let's go. What is a story or an idea in the book that you think might genuinely surprise people or ruffle a few feathers?
My gosh, there's probably so many. I think the language for me, so I have a whole chapter on something I've coined the gender financial language gap. So there's a lot of talk of the wage gap and the super gap and all these different gaps, but not enough attention, I don't think, on language. And there's one study being done where so much of the language when it comes to finance is blokey and is male. We want to build, we want to battle, we're assertive, aggressive, it's bull, it's bear, like it's all very masculine. And we might think that doesn't matter and it doesn't affect behavior. So Coke, when they had Diet Coke, they wanted more men to buy it and they just couldn't convince them because diet is a female word. Men didn't want to walk around with Diet Coke. So they repackaged it and they created Coke Zero. The whole reason was because they wanted to sell more Diet Cokes and blokes wouldn't buy, and it worked.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if it worked for that, it will work for money.
Yeah.
Like if that's soft drink, changing one word for soft drink makes such a difference. Imagine if we started to change some of the
This is
language.
so logical, but it's also so sad to
Yeah,
realize that, to go, yeah, we are that simple and
mm,
predictable.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've got so many stories in there, not just about language, but like that, where I think people will be really surprised to go, oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Even things like, so I put a call to arms in there, and I see even the language then, call to arms. Uh, in most movies and in most tropes, it's a hero's journey. Whereas the heroine's journey is a lot messier. So a hero's journey is we go to the mountain, we battle and we scale it, we've made it. Whereas a heroine's journey, according to Ms. Mulock, is a messier seeker's journey. And you could be on any part of the heroine's journey at any one time. And what I've suggested in the book is that's what we need for our finances. Because often for women, what happens is just at that point where we think, oh, okay, we're finally here, and then, and then the parent will age and we have to care for that. Or then something happens with kids. Or then the
So
divorce.
many women
Or
I
the
can see of
perimenopause.
my age are getting and going, the thing that they've always done, and now they're going, I don't want to do it anymore. And so they're
Yeah.
having to like get into say if they start their new business or they start a new
Uh-huh.
career or they go back to uni, which I love,
Yep.
but yeah, it does take a hit.
But it affects your finances. And I call that your messy middle.
Yeah.
And it's that messy middle for women, I think, that where we look at kind of what I call the boon of success to go, oh, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So what does that actually look like? And it's often that next step of, what does that look like? I think that where women can really make such a big difference to their finances. But it is also super practical. Like I talk about share investing. I put the practical in there because I don't want you to go, I get it. Now what?
Yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do it without being practical.
No.
So talking about putting it out and putting a bit more of you in there, how are you dealing with the personal stuff when it comes and you get negative comments or someone, often men try and put you in their place, into your place? How are you dealing with that? Like, do you respond to those comments? Are you doing it in a way? Like, one of my favorite people that I find, who's also in finance actually, is Ramit on, do you see
Oh,
him?
yeah.
He
Yeah, I
like
love him.
trolls back his
Yeah,
trolls.
I won't do that.
I find it hilarious.
I
I'm
know.
like, this is
I don't want to
incredible.
bring on that heat.
I
Uh,
know, but I
well, I do a
think
number
men
of things.
deal with it that way.
Yeah, and I speak to a lot of women where they're scared to put themselves out there because of the blowback. But for
Yeah.
me, it's if the message and the why is important enough, then you'll figure out how to deal with the blowback. So I do a number of things. One, I have people I talk to. So I've actually hired the wonderful Kemi Nepkavul to help me navigate the book coming out because I know I'm going to have to discuss themes, etc., whatever, that are going to be hard. So it's having that sounding board to say, right, how do I approach that? How do I not be buffeted by that? On Insta, I hide words. So if you use whore, bitch, what are some other spastic, retard, the most horrific words that have been leveled at me. If you want to comment or call me any of those, I'm not going to see them.
Yeah.
Die is also rape. So there's a whole stack of words that
Just
I
for sharing
won't be
financial
shown
advice.
just by sharing financial advice. So imagine what other women are getting if I'm just getting that from sharing financial advice. So that can be a beautiful thing you do on Insta to protect yourself, is you can just hide those words and you'll never see them.
Yeah.
But the third thing I do is if I feel like it's an argument that I can enter into that's logical, I will argue back. So I had someone say to me, you're out of touch. And I replied, no, I'm not. I'm a Western Sydney chick. The strategy that I've suggested you can do from Found Money, here's a free resource if you're open to it. And of course, they never replied back. I had people sharing myths like, yes, but what did one person say? But inflation's running at 2.8%. So if that's 25% in a year, how can anyone afford to live? I'm like, no, you're wrong. Inflation, that's an annual rate, not a monthly rate. So it's going and educating people as well, because I think when it comes to money, we didn't learn money at school. We didn't learn investing. We didn't even learn basic inflation, wages rising, all of it. So it's educating people to know. And I'm not scared to say, well, actually, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But this is some things that will help you, and this is actually what's right.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Yeah, you got this, Mel. We're right behind you. I mean, I had when that first comment came out, and I was like, I don't normally go in and comment warrior, but I did see you had a lot of people coming in and going, right, the defenses are up. Like, we'll defend.
Oh, one person just said shush, and I laughed at that. I said that to my husband. He goes, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
He's allowed to. But I galvanized that. So there came a point where I thought, this negativity, I want some positivity in with that.
Yeah.
So I actually went to my community and said, I've just put this thing on Seven, and there are some people that are feeling hopeless at the moment. And I want you to flood it with comments to share how actually you don't have to feel that way. And they did that. And I hope that people reading the comments were like, wow, okay.
Who
So
knew it was
sometimes
so
it's
threatening
about
women trying to create
comments.
wealth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Crazy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
So as you've created and grown your business, you've created and grown and sold businesses, but now you're often on camera, you're on interviews, you're in the spotlight. How do you show up on days, like I know personally you've gone through a lot of stuff over the last couple of years as well, when it feels really hard and you're feeling tired and you don't feel, because I know a lot of people that I work with and a lot of people that are listening to this right now look at you and you always appear so polished.
Yeah.
I know, but this is also why someone would have
Yeah.
said you're out of touch, is because you
Yeah.
always appear so polished, so put together, so
Not on
poised.
stories, but probably
Yeah,
in my feed. Yeah.
yeah.
Look, I think I am super introverted, so I have lots of time where I do nothing. So Mondays, you will never find me on camera. Fridays, you'll never find me on camera. So I have really strict boundaries around when I won't show my face, because part of my, and I shared a little tiny piece of this in the book, but when I was very, very young, we had a family, a friend's father take photos of us completely without consent and completely inappropriate. So when a camera is aimed at me, I instantly go into flight or fight. So I have that extra layer of, not only do I not want to show up, but just that there is a camera there, and so this is problematic. So again, I think it's realizing what will work for you. And for me, knowing that, I just can't be on all the time. So I love that you go on every day into social and say, hey friends, this is what I'm doing today. I could never do that. From that boundary point of view, and because how I feel about being on camera. But I show up enough that the community sees me. And if anything, my team pushes me to show up more. And I just say no to them, because I'm like, yeah, I get that you want me to. I get that people love that, but I show up as much as I can. I've also had training. I've worked with some people from NIDA to help me with diction and with poise and all that sort of stuff. I have great lighting, but also I think COVID really broke me with that, because it was so important that I get the message of finances out there, that I was showing up with no makeup, hair not done, bad lighting. And because I did that every single day consistently for 2 years, I kind of lost that, what will people think?
Yes.
And so now, whilst I am vain, I care less what people think.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean it's the relatability too. Like
Yeah,
it does help. I stopped using filters in 2019, so a long time
same.
ago for
Yeah.
that reason was
Plus, it's not healthy for you when you look in the mirror and that is not how you look. Or I once thought about it and went, because I speak a lot, and someone comes up to me and they're like,
what happened to
"Whoa,
your face?
what?" Yeah, exactly. I don't even want that. I want them to go, "Oh, wow,
Yeah.
you look lovely, even better in real life."
Yes, exactly. Yes, I do think that that is, yeah, that is a very important point to be able to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's this idea that if you've made it, you get to retire early and just like ride off into the sunset, but you
yeah.
haven't done that.
No.
What inspires you? I think I know the answer to this, but to keep building and creating, and what is the thing that fuels you? And are you ever tempted to go to your country house and just
Oh,
turn
hell
everything
yes. We did
upside
it over
down?
Christmas. So I told everyone I was going away, didn't go away for 3 weeks. I told my husband we were in the Fortress of Solitude and told other people that as well so they knew. And then just didn't answer the phone, didn't like hid for 3 weeks. It was the best holiday I've ever
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
It was awesome. No, not quite the best, but it was amazing. Um, Now I've gone off track because I love that so much. I'm
Yeah,
remembering
like
my
more
three
fortress
weeks
of
off.
solitude. No, so why is it not a permanent fortress of solitude?
Well, I think a few reasons. One, I really want to give back. So for me, I want to give a significant amount of money back to charity still, and I want to earn more so I can give more back. So
Yeah.
that's really, really important to me. Two, I love the work I do educating women. And I believe I have more to give. So before I turn 60, I want to get my PhD.
Do you?
Oh yeah,
What do
I'm
you
current.
mean?
So I'm currently trying to choose because you've got to go super niche as to what you want to do. So I
Yeah.
want to be Dr. Brown by the time I'm 60
Hell yeah.
and really have some, it's got to be to do with women and money.
Yeah.
So I'll be
Well, I can't
working
wait to
with,
see what topic you'd land on.
I know, I'm very
Yeah,
excited. So the next couple
I
of
went to
years, it's
start
figuring
mine
that
of
out.
like are entrepreneurs born or made? Like, is it something that's
Oh,
innate or can anyone train to do it? And I
yeah, that's
started it, and then
interesting.
I started listening to lecturers, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh, it's
I can't do
hard.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you've got
think
to,
that'll be for when I'm older.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's my pre 60. But it's just as well for me. I believe in that whole Japanese concept where the Japanese don't have a word for retirement. I want to still be doing this when I'm 70 and 80, nowhere near the same pace, but I hope that I will still have something that I believe is important and relevant to stay. And whilst there's no way I will be doing what I am doing now, I hope never to stop. And my husband's very much the same. We both love what we do. We both believe in service. And we want to be able to do it as long as we can, just maybe not at the same pace.
It would be so rewarding for you as well. Like the amount of people that I talk to and your name
Yeah,
comes up in conversation and they're like, Mel's changed my life. Like changed
yeah,
my life. Which is, I
yeah,
mean, you could never really get enough of knowing that you've made such a positive impact for so many people.
And at the conference last year, so we had a conference, an in-person conference for 700 women, Her Wealth, Her Way, which
So
we're running again
impactful.
this year. That energy, I reckon, has fueled me for another 5 years. Like
Yeah.
there's just something about being in a room with 700 women and having half of them were my existing community and having them eyeball me. We had one that came down from Darwin. Like we had them flying from all over the place, New Zealand, Perth, whatever. They said that they found me because they were coming down from Darwin. They were on a road trip. They were listening to Unfuck Your Finances. Then they ended up on the audiobook. Then they ended up on my webpage, joined MFAP, and they said, "Oh, now we're here at your conference." I'm like, "Oh my!" And she said, "I just needed you to know how I got here." It's
Yeah.
like bloody
See,
hell.
everything
Like
works.
it's just, I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
One of the big questions that your audience and mine often ask is, and we kind of touched on this a bit at the start, is it too late to start investing?
No.
And you've addressed that a lot, but what do you say to people that know that yes, it would have been heaps better if I started 10 years ago? What's the advice there?
So again, I talk about this in the book because ageism, with women particularly, is such a theme. And you can't not believe that the ageism we just take on from society to do with our looks, to do with our grey hair, to do with how we age, women bring that into our finances. So I get DMs every single day from women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Have I left it too late? I had a conversation with Rask last year, so Owen from Australian Investors Podcast, and I said to him, have you ever had a guy say this? Because I just really, I'm always asking guys this because I want to know, do men think the same? And he just looked at me and went, no, a guy has never said to me, have I left it too late? So I believe this, because of the ageism that women hold, because of that lookism, I genuinely believe that that's where that comes from. But if you know how to find more cash, so I've got a free resource, 20 plus ways to find 10K in 12 months. If you know how to find more cash, you can keep investing from 50, 60, 70. It is understanding that the power of compound interest means that even small amounts are absolutely worth it. It is not about being debt-free and then investing, but it is realizing you have time, but you need to start. But we have women in our community, and one example is Liz from Melbourne, who about 18 months ago, she was in her 50s, never owned her own home, thought that just was off the table for her. Age 53, single woman, bought her own home.
Yeah.
Like, there is more available to us than we understand is possible, but it's learning how to do that and learning how to have that.
Yeah. And it is, I was having this conversation with my kids the other day, actually, going, like, we want to get rich slow. Like, just
Yes.
try and I know so
Building
much
wealth
of,
is boring. Yeah.
yeah, but
It's
it was, I
consistency.
made so many mistakes throughout
Yep.
my 20s and 30s because I was trying to go too hard. And I only started getting into shares like mid 30s and started with $20 a week going into pocket sec. Like, just the
Yeah.
tiniest, and I thought, what's even the freaking point? But I started,
It
and then I would up
absolutely
it
is.
and up it and up it. And then when I
Yep.
started working with you, I have to share this tip in 2019. And I was like, I'm your business coach, but this tip that you gave me, like, changed
I
my
know which
world.
one you're going to say.
I
Yep.
know, because I was like, I hate this, but also it has changed. So you talked about the beliefs that we form when we're growing up with different things. And one of mine was a very big scarcity belief. And I always believed that I would be broke. And a part of me was like, when I started getting money, was like, quick, spend it before it disappeared.
Yeah.
Like spend
Yep.
it, use it. I never had more than $1,000 in the bank account because I was like, what's the point of it just sitting there doing nothing? I may as well have fun. Life is short. Let's go. It's all going to disappear at any moment, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you said, well, if you can start investing, maybe every time you buy something, you just put the same amount into shares. Very simple concept. I won't even say how much money is in there now and how much I have curbed my spending because of it.
Because you have to. Because you have to
I would
afford
go,
double.
well, if I want
Yeah.
that pair of shoes, okay, so if they're $300, do I have $600 that I'm
Yeah.
going to put in? So that I was looking after both instant gratification Tina and also future old lady Tina.
Yeah.
And that simple thing changed so much in terms of the beliefs and the habit of it and just thinking about it all the time.
I love that you do. And it's such a simple hack. Yeah. Choose your thing. Maybe it's eating out. Maybe it's experiences, holidays. For me, it's clothes and shoes. Whatever you spend on that, you have to invest. And my latest one is that I've been doing for a while now is I also have to donate it. So it has to be 3 times now.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So
Do you
as
know,
a dim,
I've just finished a no buy. Well, I haven't finished. So I went this year on a no buy, no essentials. No,
Yeah, nice.
because I decluttered in the holidays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have 17 white tops.
yeah.
I do not
Yep.
need any more tops. I'm like, I have so many bags, so many shoes, so many things. I'm like, my consumption got out of control. I'm like, I don't need
Shop
anything.
your closet instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just
Yep.
going to do a month of no buy. I'm going all year.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
like, I'm doing it. Yeah. And it makes such a big difference. I'm looking at my
And you
bank
can
account.
still get that dopamine hit. So if you can encourage others to do it too, I have got some, I did it with some girlfriends' kids last year that are all either late teens or early 20s. So I invited them round and said, if you can shop my closet, everything's $10 and I'll give the money to charity. And you're teaching them thrifting, but also you're talking to them about money and
I
like it's
mean, what a bargain. I'll
so
sign
much.
up for that.
Oh, I've had so many people say that. I'm like, no, it's for my friends' kids. But also, what you could do is say to friends, bring around half a dozen things you're not wearing anymore, or you don't love. Let's half a dozen of us all get together. You will probably come with a small suitcase full of stuff.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've all got most of a new wardrobe and it hasn't cost you a cent.
Yeah.
So it's figuring out that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like this, the swap economy, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, we should
But
do
it's
it.
just thinking of doing that stuff.
Yeah, and I think like that's got the reputation back in the day. I know, I only shopped at op shops when I was young,
Yes,
and
same.
it's got that reputation of like being poor. And I
Yeah.
really had to reframe it into going, well, maybe we could. It's sustainable. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
waste so much and
I
let go of
have
that stigma.
definitely the smell of an op shop for me for a long time actually was problematic because I just associated that to that's all we could afford.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't glamorous, that was it. But my nana, my gorgeous nana, used to take me when I was an older teen into the op shops around the Coogee, Botany Bay area, and Rockdale, and I then started to see, oh, that she's having community and getting together with her friends. So I reprogrammed as a result of that. So I love
Yeah, nice.
op shopping. I love thrifting. Like
Yeah.
you get
I
some
mean, it's
bargains.
all the rage for the kids now too.
It's
Now you
good.
mentioned before you don't need to pay off your debt
Yeah.
before you start investing. And I know there's always a fierce debate in personal finance is you pay off your house? Do you
Debt free.
invest the money
Yeah.
elsewhere? What are the different things that you advise women to consider in that decision?
So if you've got bad debt, and by bad debt I mean buy now, pay later, even if you're not paying a single cent of interest, because if you go to Afterpay's site to the business section, they will proudly declare that you overspend by 54%, upped it from 40 to 54, yay Afterpay. When you use their services, if it's a credit card, you'll spend an extra 18%. So we want to get rid of that because the interest is going to be massive, the penalties, but also the overspend is massive. If it's freaking awful debt, things like payday loans and those convenient loans like Nimble, as much as 68% interest comparative rate you're paying. So we want to get rid of that. We'll never find a return as good as that. But if we've got okay or good debt, so if we've got business loans, if we've got investment loans, if we've got mortgages, student loans, then we want to get comfortable with that because they're assets and investments. So currently mortgages, you should have a 5 in front of it. This is coming out on a Wednesday. I believe we'll have received an interest rate hike the day before, but it should still have a 5 in front of it. I can get a return on the share market with a 9 in front of it. So the power of compound interest, where's my money better placed? Yes, I want to, if I'm looking at my mortgage, yes, I want to pay a bit more off and have a buffer so that if life happens, I've got that money there. So you might put into a comparative rate site or an extra payments calculator and figure out how could I pay it off 5 years earlier. So building up a buffer. But with that extra money that you might have been paying it off faster, consider investing instead. Because sure, someone that's trying to pay it off faster will be debt-free first, but they're going to have less choice than you because you can't eat your house. Meaning that unless you're willing to downsize or bring in a boarder, you can't make money from that asset. Whereas if I'm investing and I'm paying a little bit more off, then in 10 years' time or 15 years' time, I've got more choice because I've got that investment that I can potentially draw down or use. So I don't ever want to be either or.
Yeah.
I want to be and.
Yeah.
Pay a little bit more and also be investing. But be aware there's different
I've
types.
found it so tricky because I'm like,
Yeah.
"Is this
And we're
logical?"
conditioned. Oh,
Oh,
pay
yeah.
off your debt. Is debt scary?
Yes.
But what if debt wasn't scary? What if debt felt comfortable enough that you could do that?
Yes.
And in the book, I talk about, I use a really different analogy that I haven't used before. So I talk about debt. So I call bad debt the quicksand of debt. Like it looks harmless, but actually it can really pull you under. I call okay debt a bridge. So if we want to get to the other side, yes, we could somehow travail down to the valley, but most of us are going to want to cross that bridge. And for some people, that bridge is going to feel strong and steady. Others, it's going to feel super rickety, but it's making it as making it as comfortable to walk across as you can.
Yeah.
And then the good debt is like taking a car across the bridge so that you get to where you want to go faster.
I like that.
And I'm scared of heights, so I get not feeling comfortable with okay debt, but I'm still going to walk across that bridge. I'm just going to make sure it's a wide laned bridge and not a bridge that's swaying and that I feel buffeted on. And how we control what that bridge feels like is not having the dream house, like not borrowing everything that we can, not doing the reno, investing instead and not having that extra layer of debt. So it's choosing how we have that debt
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, in like my late 20s to late 30s, every time I went for a loan, I was like, I'll take however much you'll get. I'll go right to the end and then probably a few thousand over and have to scramble at the end every
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Yeah. It was
In my
definitely the
20s,
case.
I absolutely had to do that too. But also, like in my 20s, I just had a lot of energy. So I had a second job so that I was also studying and working full time. My husband had a second job. So in your 20s, you got more
You
energy
love the
to
knowledge of
do
now
the
and the
stuff.
energy of then.
I
Amazing.
know.
Okay, I want to ask you about business because obviously we're on her Empire
Mm.
Builder podcast. You are like the poster child for the most successful person that I've ever worked with, in that when we met, your course was making, I think, like a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s a year. And
I think
then,
I launched. Oh, I had courses before that had made a couple
yeah,
hundred,
yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
a couple of thousand,
Yeah.
probably.
Um, you've created My Financial Adulting Plan, which has been going now
Mm.
for 6 years, 7 years.
Yes, a six.
Yeah, which is so incredibly successful and has helped
Mm.
thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, we're
What
up
do
to
you
five and a
think
half thousand
you
people, which
did
is very
that
cool.
set it apart to be so successful? Because it's not like you're alone in financial education and sharing your
Mm.
thoughts online and through courses. What do you
Yeah.
do that's made it so exceptional?
I think I think having run those other businesses was really lucky for me in a way because what I knew is I knew the power of systems and having that discipline focus. So going to an expert, so we used you as the coach and not having all those systems put into place early was so key for us. And what we decided to do, I remember when we engaged you, is I had Lawsy, who's my 2IC, work for me part time. And I just said to her, whatever is currently working in that space that the research is showing, we are doing. And we're just going to keep adding different things every time, every single time we launch. But we're not going to drop the good things that are also working, which is what I'm prone to do. We're just going to be consistent. Even if we are bored with it, we are going to be consistent. And I believe that that consistency and the adding more and more in is absolutely
Yeah.
has what helped us. But we also laser focused on that. So at the time, I think I was doing a number of different things and I ended up dropping a successful business course that I was running and just laser
Yeah.
focused in on the My Financial Adulting Plan because I'm like, this needs to be as great as it can be,
Yeah.
both as a program, both with how we talked about it, how we marketed it, the systems that we wanted to build. And now it is hyper competitive in our space.
Yeah.
There are so many competitors. So we are not, that is not the only product we have anymore. But I think what we've also recognized that makes us continue to be successful is whilst that still takes up half of our business, we know our customers so well that we have so many complementary things that she or they can do, whether it's a shares masterclass for 90 minutes, which we liken it to where you watch a movie for 90 minutes, so you can do this. We have books, obviously. We have more and more business things
It's a
that we offer
well-rounded
now.
ecosystem without like
Yeah,
going nuts
without it
with
being
the
too
ascension model.
cluttered.
Yeah. Can I
Yeah,
share the two things that I think has made you most
please. Yeah,
successful?
yeah.
Like,
Oh, and I taught myself all the things. So I learned from experts and then went, oh, hang on, I can do that. So I
yeah,
run our own ads.
yes,
I know deeply
yeah.
our numbers and our woman.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
this is like my number one for you is you are quite scrappy. There's nothing that you
Mm,
don't, there's nothing you say, no, I can't do that, or I need to learn.
no,
Like if I would ever
we're
say something to
implementers.
you, hey, I think this is working. I've seen this work in a couple of, you're like, great, I'll
We'll
try
have a
it. Like
crack.
we'll give it a go.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the fear of failure was pretty absent from
yeah, it
everything that you were
was.
doing. Like there's some things that worked so well, there's some things that totally tanked and you were like you
Mm,
never took it on as like, oh okay, that's my failure, but this didn't work in the
no,
business. Let's change it and let's like your pragmatism with that, I
yeah,
think helped you to just get such beautiful momentum and knock it out of the park. So I think you
I
did
so
that
agree with
really, really
that.
well. And the
Yeah,
second is I've never seen anyone so obsessed with the customer journey and feeling. Like
yeah,
you obsess over, okay, the second that she gets to that thank you page, she's going to be feeling fear. She's going to be wondering, am I good enough for this? Am I able to do this? And this is the first video she needs to be seeing there. And this is what, and I think
yeah,
knowing her so well and giving a shit
yeah,
so incredibly much as well
yeah,
is exhausting for you
agree.
because you're worried about it all the time,
Yeah.
but also has made it so good is because people can feel that care once they're in as well.
No,
So
I love that you see that. No, that's we have two really strong personas, and we have her in mind all the time. Even little things like we tweak the program consistently to make sure it's still relevant. I send handwritten cards to every single person that signs up because I want them
this is what I
to
mean.
know that I see them.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's
Which
we
I
want to make
mean,
sure there's
I do
personal
that
touches.
and I launch and I have like 40 people.
I've sent 5,500 cards
That's
already.
ridiculous. Like it's
Handwritten
ridiculous.
card. My team, so Lawsy said this launch, we're not going to do that this time, are we? I'm like, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a pre-printed thing on it.
Yeah.
I handwrite them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the level of care. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two questions left for you. Second last one. If you could whisper one sentence to every woman lying in bed at night worrying about money, what would you say?
I would say you're not too old, you're not too young, you're not too busy, or you're not too broken, but you just need to start.
Yeah.
So I would just want her to know that deeply. Like, know that you are not those things, but also know you got to start. Like, you got to get up, and what's the one thing that you got to start doing?
And now they can start with a $20 book.
Yeah,
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 it's so
exactly.
accessible.
Think
It's
it's
so good.
24 on Amazon, but don't go to Amazon. Go
So
to a little
good.
independent bookseller.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll caveat that. Okay, finally, you're talking about dare to be wealthy. What are you daring yourself to believe next? Like, what is the edge that you are leaning into for your own growth?
That's an interesting question. What is it? Um, okay. Probably, so for my own growth, so the thing that I'm daring to lean into is that I am worth having boundaries so strong that I can ruthlessly hold them. And that might sound really harsh, but the thing that what I know for myself is there is so much that I want to do. And yet I am so buffeted still by the emotional, and that has the ability to change how I show up for my family, for my friends, for my community. And I just don't want that. And that sort of stuff impacts your finances. It impacts your business, even if we don't realize it. So last year, I think I already have quite strong boundaries, but I've dug a moat with them around some people just because I just finally, and maybe it's just
Protect your
menopause
energy.
again, that's enough.
Yeah.
Like that's just enough.
Yeah, and it does.
So
Once you do that, I think the level of self-respect and self-love that you then feel enables
yeah,
you to go and do all the things that you want to be able to do.
yeah. But that's very much a daring thing because I think I've even asked you, how do you do it?
You do, yeah.
Because it is something that for me, I've had to come to that place
Yeah.
for myself and really had to go,
I'm
is
crazy
that right for
married.
me?
Yeah.
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 I thought I was, but this is just a new level
Yeah.
where it's like, no, I won't have my peace impacted because of what I want to do and how. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And my cup empties so quickly when some people take from it. So it's
Yeah.
just not allowing them access to it.
I mean, imagine a world where more women are encouraged to hold their beautiful boundaries and to have more wealth.
Yeah.
Let's get that world. Mel, thank you so much. You're so wonderful. You're so incredible. I can't wait for everyone to read the book and shoot you into the next level of superstardom so that so many women can have that more wealth. It's so important. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. Mwah!